This week on the John Sandwich Show, Eric's got a review. John Man will say something controversial, and Thurston's gonna dance the old soft shoe. Won't you join us, please?
Welcome to the John Sandwich Show.
Oh, yeah.
Can't believe it.
I don't look like Bane anymore when I'm gonna be talking. Swear to God.
We're gonna get copyright strike. That just sounded that good.
I hear babies cry. Friend shaking hands.
It's a scam.
Did it touch you?
They really say, I love
Should we
you.
let everyone else in on the conversation? If it's too loud, they just turn it down, right?
Perfect sandwich. Beautiful.
Welcome to the John Sandwich Show.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Eric. With me, as always, is John and John. We are the John Sandwich Show. How's everyone doing today? Oh my God!
Great, man.
Woo!
Doing well.
Feeling a little bit better. It's a little later in the day. I think. Yeah, starting to wake up a little bit.
Yeah, about time. That coffee, beer,
Beer.
coffee.
Either one or.
Yeah.
Coffee with beer.
Goodness. How you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Doing well, man. Doing well.
Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
playing games.
What kind of
I don't
games
have
you
a
play?
lot of responsibilities. It's good.
Oh, good, good. Are you still on vacation mode then?
Yeah.
You're on vacation too?
Not long vacation like him, but
All you
Weekend
motherfuckers
vacation?
on vacation.
sort of, yeah.
Did you work
Nice.
yesterday?
Define work. Did I log in? Yes. Did I do anything? No.
How
Gotcha.
is that Death Stranding game? Talking about that.
Oh, dude, it's awesome.
Is it?
The first like 20 minutes of the game, just you don't care how much you walk in that game. You just want to know what happens next.
Yeah.
In my opinion, some people say like, oh, it's weird, but that's a game to play while you're like high or something,
Yeah.
like smoking weed, because you're gonna be like getting all the subtle nuance that Kojima puts in his games.
Hideo, man. It's not about the walking, it's about the journey
Yeah.
with Hideo Kojima.
The character development.
Yep.
Norman Reedus's character is super good.
Mad Mickelson's in there too, right?
Yeah,
mean,
Mad Mickels.
You would think he'd have to do sequels because he's not just going to do one standoff game. So you're going to have to like figure out the nuances of like how they're going to do a sequel and all this other stuff with it. Maybe the sequel will be more violent and more action orientated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like all the walking mechanics, they're pretty well polished. So it's like
Is it third or first person? I don't
Third
think I've seen
person.
it third person.
Dude, that's one thing I've always known about Hideo Kojima games is the game mechanics themselves have always been borderline flawless.
yeah.
Like if he wants you to walk, he will make that walking simulation amazing.
Dude, seeing him stumble, like I've never been more impressed with someone falling over with all their stuff in their hands.
Well, like MGS5.
Like, wow,
man.
that was a great fall.
MGS5, the game mechanics are flawless. Yes, I liked the storyline very well and went really good with the MGS like theme. It wasn't his best story, but the game mechanics, oh my God, were amazing. Like
Yeah.
to this day, probably still some of the best stealth
Are you talking about
action.
5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stealth action, gun control type game I've ever played to this day.
Yeah.
Dang.
And even with that, he still adds bonkers, hilarious, like stuff, like
Yeah.
the whole box.
Yeah.
He has a robot arm, so he can like in multiplayer, you can, or I think you can do this later in single player.
Yeah.
You have like a rocket arm, and it detaches, and you
Yeah.
like fly your fist around, and you literally
Yeah.
aim it towards some guy's cheek.
So Hideo Kojima games have
It's incredible.
gameplay wise have always been like mechanically sound, like always.
For sure.
Like you get your Call of Duties and they're like, it's Call of Duty. Yeah, the game mechanics are what the game mechanics are.
Yeah.
But like with this, like with the controls, and you almost feel a part of it almost a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like when 4 came out, how you can get in the box. Not only can you get in the box, you can walk with the box over you, jump out of the box like a fucking Jack in the Box. You can leap out of it, and you can do anything. You can leap
5.
backwards.
Talking about 5.
Oh, 5?
Five.
Yeah.
Either one, 4 and 5, I think.
Well, you could always get
pop
in the
out of the box.
Yeah.
And like in 3, Psycho Mantis would actually read your game saves
Well, it's
on your game, or was that 2?
Well, are you in chronological order, or like a lot of people view that one as Metal Gear Solid 1, It was the first one with Psycho Mantis, but technically there was 2 games before that on the NES. So story-wise, it is technically the third one, but actually, technically, it is
the first one chronologically.
First, it's the third one chronologically.
Oh, but it was the first like normal.
It was
MGS style.
It was the first PlayStation 1 game.
Oh, okay.
Chronologically, chronologically, it might be the.
It's a complicated thing. If you start playing MGS, you're not gonna know what's going on.
Yeah.
You're gonna see a vampire fight a cyborg, and then this walker that sounds like a cow will walk by, and you're just gonna be like, "What the fuck is going on?" But it's fun.
That's awesome.
But what I was saying is there's this character in there that's like supposed to be psychic, and he'll actually on the PlayStation 1 would read your save data and like talk to you about it in the game.
Really?
Be like, "Oh, so you like this and this. You've played for this long."
So I think
And some shit like that, right?
Metal Gear Solid on the first PlayStation game chronologically is the 4th game.
I have to Wikipedia this shit.
Yeah, chronologically it's the 4th game. It is technically the 3rd game. A lot of people consider it the first game.
Are there any other Metal Gears like on the plate without
Without what?
Hideo Kojima?
The 5th one was kind of
No, the 5th one was Hideo Kojima.
Yeah.
The only ones
I think he fell out like halfway through though, right?
No, he didn't fall out halfway through. The Konami just cut off production, so he had to really rush the rest of the game.
So I wonder if they're going to try to push the series out without him.
I'm sure they'll try.
Yeah.
They've had a couple games under the Metal Gear Solid umbrella that didn't
That were
necessarily
awful.
they didn't progress or digress the storyline. They were more like a sideshow, like Metal Gear Solid Presents, like that Raiden game you were talking about.
Oh yeah,
on
that
Twitch.
one was good.
Yeah, so that was not a Hideo Kojima game, but it was on. And then they had like that.
The zombie one.
zombie
oh
one, which
my
was shit.
god, it was the worst.
Yeah.
That was a disgrace.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist.
They pretty much just used
doesn't exist.
Kojima's game engine and his characters they already created and created a zombie game with him.
Yeah, not even a fun zombie game. All you do is wait for them to get to a fence and then you poke them. And there's no different way of doing it. You just poke them in one single animation. There's no second animation like underneath. No, you just poke them.
That's the game.
And then they come over and then you poke them some more.
Yeah,
that's the whole fucking
Metal
game.
Gear Survive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
shit.
disgrace.
But anyway, back to Death Stranding.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
No,
Death Stranding.
Sorry about that.
Like,
I mean, it's really hard
it's
to
just
talk about
so
Hideo
intriguing.
Kojima without MGS. So
yeah, that's what he's famous for, and it really his style totally fits with Death Stranding. How it's weird, kind of funny, kind of ridiculous in many ways, but still downright intriguing. Like
Nice.
one of the weird things about it is you basically where you set everything up, like your equipment and stuff, is like a room, right? You get like this hotel room type thing. It's like your office, and there's different ones throughout the country. But like you have your suit stuff, your bridge baby, which is your baby that helps you see ghosts, which is just like a psychic link between you and this fetus. Weird, but the weirdest thing about it is on your
Is the
table
fetus
next to
growing
you.
on you like Quado?
No,
Okay.
it's
unfortunately.
like in a chamber.
Oh, okay.
But the weirdest thing by far is right at your desk, there's like 6 cans of Monster. Like
Oh, yeah.
straight up Monster energy drinks right here. This is years into the future,
Product
post-apocalyptic.
Monster will survive.
Yeah, nothing else is regular.
Nothing
There's like 6 cans of Monster right here. And you have to drink those. That's like your health. The whole thing is
Really?
fucking Monster energy drink. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And when he drinks it, he goes like, he looks like sometimes he'll actually look at the camera like product placement. Like actually breaking the fourth wall, and he like drinks all of it. And that's your fucking health pack, is a straight up Monster energy drink. I'm pretty sure they 3D scanned a can because it's exactly the same.
Wow.
I was recently at Safeway,
It's fucking wild.
and I saw a bottle of Monster. It was like Monster, but coffee too.
Oh yeah. I've seen
Oh
that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Java, Monster
Yeah.
Java or
Monster
something.
Java or whatever. And I'm just like, God, our scientists are so preoccupied. If they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're seeing colors or you're seeing sounds. You always see colors.
Unless you're me.
Yeah.
Some colorblind.
You see about 80% of colors.
You fucking asshole.
You have to bring up colors.
No.
You know that's my. But yeah, it's
John's
fucking.
cross the bear, man.
Apparently, to Japanese people, the reason they have Monster Energy drink is because to Japanese people, that's like cool. You know.
Yeah.
You know, some people in their room they have like a samurai sword or like a scarf that like
almost
says
like a
some
novelty.
Japanese
Yay,
thing. and-
America, Monster Energy. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Japanese people see the Monster Energy drink because it takes place in the United States,
Uh-huh.
and they say that specifically it's the United States or the former United States, and apparently they see like Monster Energy drink and they're like, yeah, cool American stuff, nice,
Oh well.
and it just fits with them, but to us it's downright like, what the fuck?
So it's just like it's almost like to them it's like decor or like
Yeah, it's like
they just view that. So the Japanese perception of America is like, all right, they're always amped up on Monster Energy drinks. This is awesome. Like so, it's almost
Yeah.
like a MacGuffin type thing
Yeah.
for Japanese people.
Is
Yeah.
Norman Reedus also wearing an Ed Hardy t-shirt at the same time too?
no, but you can
Should.
take a shower and see his ass many times.
Sold.
Oh, yeah.
Going out to buy a PlayStation 4 tonight.
And you can look at collectibles that you collect throughout the game, and it's behind him because he like sits there and you like choose what's around you, and the collectibles are behind him. And when you click the collectibles, he walks into the camera like this, and then points at the collectibles,
Oh, really?
and then gets out of the way, and then zooms in on it.
That's cool,
It's
man.
such a weird fucking game.
Dude, Hideo Kojima, man.
It's awesome. And then there's plenty of drama too,
Oh,
that are
yeah.
that's serious, but it's just all the ridiculousness.
So how do you feel about
that.
the online game mechanics?
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So the online game mechanics, basically the whole game is based around traversing the whatever.
The territory.
Yeah, traversing the territory. There are certain areas you can't get to, and there's no like, you know, in video games, there's like a path that's clear.
Mm-hmm.
There is none. If there's a mountain there, you're gonna have to somehow traverse the mountain, look at your maps, and maybe set up like a bridge, a ladder, or like a rope.
bridge. Oh.
Yes, Bridges, the company that he works for. And what people can do is people that previously played, they put a ladder there, and later on, if you play, you can actually use that ladder and like thumbs up it and like it, because oh my god, this is the most woke thing about the game. Fucking Hideo Kojima in this world, currency is likes, because so many the world is like decimated. If you're not helping, then get the fuck out. So basically, you do good things, you post it online. Literally Instagram, you post it online and you get likes like, oh, I built a bridge right here. People are going to be like, hell yeah, thank you. Or I delivered something. They give you likes, everyone else gives you likes, and you use that as currency. And they explain like that's the currency, and I'm like, that's fucking real life right now,
yeah.
dude.
It's pretty neat.
Like
actually.
he's so fucking woke.
It's kind of like Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Likes are all that matter.
Yeah.
Is
Wow.
other people approving of you.
It's crazy.
And that's the future, man.
All right, I'm going to have to
that's-
pick it up.
It's a good
Yeah.
one.
I have a PS4. I just need to pick it up.
It's a good dude, man.
Well, I'll play it right after God of War.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not kidding about the Instagram. It's
And
like
I'll play
it really
that right
says
after
Instagram.
Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's good. So would you recommend it?
Yeah, totally. If you like a chill experience, some people like wall-to-wall action. But if you want a chill experience that's story-based
Yeah.
and just intriguing, I totally recommend it.
Nice.
I got a review too.
Oh, yeah? On what?
Yeah.
Well, let's hear it.
Yeah, I wanted to see. Well, I didn't really. I was just kind of like. I think I talked about it on the podcast before about the new Joker, Joaquin Phoenix movie,
Ah, yes.
and I'm like, like freaking. I'll probably see it. It's probably gonna be good. We'll just be like, yeah, it was all right, and that's about what my review is. Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
it was
acceptable.
Yeah, it was
Just
an
that?
acceptable film. Wasn't bad. It wasn't like this great thing that people are making it out to be. Very dark, very violent. I guess like the real message of the whole film was like about like mental health. Made a lot of interesting choices in it, but yeah, overall it was really good. It was fine. I mean, it was fine, passable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't
like
think
a
it was
lot of
Heath
people
Ledger
are
Joker level.
no, okay,
No.
because that's all what like a lot of people are saying. Like this is, well, okay, is it the best Joker since Heath Ledger? Well,
Sure.
I mean, you only have
Of course,
Jared Leto.
Yeah, you got Jared Leto. Yeah.
So I mean, there's not a lot to. So is he the second best Joker? You think?
Yeah, I
Or
would
is he
like
the
to.
third?
I would like to see it play out a little bit more. I think I like the. I kind of like what they're setting up. I know they said that they weren't going to do a sequel, but now they might. It's like I could see how that could work, like in this new DC universe that they're kind of doing. They almost, like they pretty much set up Thomas Wayne, Batman's dad, kind of as the villain of the story. And I think in that way it could work. Like they do kind of. I could see how people were kind of up in arms where they kind of like glorify this Joker guy as like almost like a hero, like on a city level and stuff. It's just like this was like a long time coming because people are like all oppressed by the 1%. People are all getting all taken down. This guy kind of rises up. He has no idea.
The fire?
Yeah, the fire rises. He has no idea any of this stuff's happening because he's just like this guy's suffering from like these mental conditions and stuff. He's just glad to be accepted. I think in that way, it kind of makes me. I think the only pause I have about it is that the character's not portrayed very smart, like almost like a buffoon.
Yeah.
And you're wondering like how does he plan these
rise
things?
to be the clown prince of crime where this all happens? In that way, that kind of doesn't make sense to me. He's almost played too sympathetic, I think. But of course, yeah, he does do horrible.
I mean,
things
it is an origin though.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to.
He does become like a full-fledged Joker at the end, like freaking. The final third act is very uncomfortable and done really well. Up until then, the movie's kind of like just paint by numbers, just like you can totally see where it's coming. You can predict what's going to happen. At the very end, though, you're just kind of like, whoa, like where's this going? And it gets really good. You go through the whole spoiler. You go through the whole Wayne's dying again.
Yeah.
That all
Expected.
happens.
Spoiler.
Yeah, and then you see fucking Bruce Wayne there, and it's like kind of like this whole thing that happened kind of gave birth to Batman. That's all set up. So I don't know.
So I guess my
It's a
question to
mixed
you.
bag.
My question to you: would you like to see Joaquin Phoenix's Joker into a Batman movie?
I would.
I mean, I think that is the main question. Like a standalone origin movie, that's great. But would you like to see him in a Batman movie?
I think done the right way, it could be good. Depending on, I don't know what Matt Reeves is planning on doing with this other Batman trilogy he's concocting with what you said Andy Serkis is Alfred.
Yeah.
I mean, so they're kind
That's
of already portraying like a younger Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what's his face?
Colin Farrell's the Penguin, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, interesting.
I don't
Who's this
know.
guy?
Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman.
Yeah. Huh.
I think that's the only
A Kravitz?
castings they have. Yeah.
I mean, so they're already kind of portraying, even though he's not that young, they're portraying a younger Batman. So
Yeah.
maybe like Joaquin Phoenix could eventually play a role in that
For sure.
series.
The movie's gorgeous looking, by the way. Though
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it looks great, shot well. It definitely gives you an uncomfortable feeling, like while you're watching it. Like, I mean, the whole movie, there's like beating this guy down, just like it's an uncomfortable.
Like he's
watch.
pushed to his breaking
He's
point.
supposed to do this, yeah. But like, I mean, they established that he has mental health problems like before that and stuff. Like he has like a condition, which I think is done really well. Where, which I guess is a real one too. Where just when you're uncomfortable, you just laugh uncontrollably. I guess it's
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's an actual real thing.
Oh, wow.
They do it pretty good. Like there's one scene where he goes to a comedy club, and there's this guy telling jokes, right? And like the crowd's laughing, but the only time he laughs is like during the setup part, like before the punchline. It's like he has no idea how to interact with this
Oh,
crowd.
wow.
Oh,
So like
interesting.
he'll laugh, and then the joke will happen, and everybody else around him will laugh, and he'll look around like, why is everybody like he has no idea what's like how to interact or what's
Oh, wow.
funny.
He's
So it's like-
alienated.
Yeah, it's
You are actually making
it's
it sound
done
like
really
a better
well.
movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
You know.
It's definitely a good movie. It's done really well.
That may be the sign of a good movie, is you can't really pin it down to any one genre.
Mm-hmm.
It's
There's like a lot
It
of
takes
good
from others.
scenes that establish the character, and I would say that I think Joaquin's performance.
And you're not the biggest Joaquin fan.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Joaquin fan, but I think his performance outshines the material itself. He transcends it, makes it better. I think.
Yeah. I mean, so as an origin story of like, of course, like eventually you'll become the clown prince of crime.
Mhm.
Like, do you see that happening? Like how this story's been told, or do you kind of see like they've kind of set it up for him to always be like a buffoon, like you were saying?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the way they end it, I could see it, but it's like they don't portray him as smart. Like he has like a diary, and like they show the diary, a lot of the words in there are like misspelled and stuff.
I mean, you don't have to be like a good speller to be.
That's true. That's
Super
true.
smart.
Yeah, and
to do
I mean,
all this
because a
stuff.
lot of autistic people,
That's true. That's
you know,
true.
yeah, it matters what
like their
subject
main
is.
focus is like one. Like they are very smart and very determined at like one specific thing. a
The
lot of these
last
times,
scene of the movie that it all leads up to him. I think they show this on the trailers too. Like he goes to the talk show with Robert De Niro.
Mm-hmm.
That whole scene in the interview is genuinely terrifying. That whole scene kind of I had that, you know, like when you watch something like really good and stuff, like you can almost feel like you're holding your breath as to what's gonna happen next.
Yeah.
I got that feeling where I was like holding my breath. I'm like, what the fuck's gonna happen?
Yeah.
So
Right.
that was done really well.
Mm.
So yeah, it ends really strong, and so where you do kind of want to see more of this guy, and
Maybe in the sequels he'll become more refined to
Yeah,
the
for
criminal
sure.
lifestyle.
Oh.
Kind of like Robert Downey Jr. In Iron Man, he started out like an enormous asshole,
Enormous asshole with all this
But-
wealth and everything.
but now he's much less of an asshole. Kind of snarky, but he's not going to be like, screw off, poor person, or whatever.
they made like a couple revelations in there too, where I was like, but they didn't go anywhere. Like it was,
Yeah.
it was like done to kind of be like to lead you astray, and then you come back and realize what's really happening. So I think it was done really good. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
were previous Jokers smart? I know Heath Ledger's Joker was like, quote unquote, smart and intelligent. Were the past ones, was he just wacky and unpredictable,
Well,
or
the
was
thing
he
is,
like a planner? Like
so the
Heath
only
Ledger's?
like, if you don't mind, like the only problem I see with Eric's review is not portraying him as being smart. Is like you've never really seen the Joker portrayed in any other way except for being the clown prince of crime.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
a
you've
smart-
never seen any of his backstory.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's true. But like with Heath Ledger and stuff like that, like it was all part of the plan, and like freaking, he had all this stuff set up, and he was like always
Yeah.
one step ahead of what was going on.
yeah.
There's a theory for that Joker that he was actually a black agent, which, like a black ops agent, because of his know-how on how to make explosives, how to drive people to like insanity. Like he had CIA training on how to manipulate people. He mentions that a truckload of soldiers gets blown up and no one bats an eye. And like, why would he make that particular thing? He could have said something else. And it kind of makes sense that he may have been like a black ops agent at one point that got pushed.
Yeah.
And it makes even more sense because Alfred, who was also like a government agent at one point, he talks about how he actually had to hunt down a person like him who was also like a revolutionary militant person.
That was a good monologue too, by the way. Freaking, where like, he wasn't stealing the jewel. He stole the jewels and just gave them away to like the towns. Didn't care about it.
Yeah, he just wanted to see his like government suffer.
Yeah.
And like he wanted to stir the pot. and
Because
stuff
some men
like
are
that.
looking for things logical. There's a throwaway
not-
line though in Tim Burton's Batman with Jack Nicholson and stuff, where they call him like he's reading the file on Jack Napier and stuff, the guy that eventually becomes a Joker, and he's like
Mhm.
a borderline genius. I just always assume that there was just something more broader about it, where Whereas this guy's just, I mean, almost maybe it's done better where this guy's just portrayed as he's just a crazy person, just
Yeah.
like Heath Ledger that just does things that
Yeah.
they just happen to work out.
Yeah. Well, do you feel is one thing I've noticed with like the great Jokers, and I only say there's 3 great Jokers: Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Mark Hamill's Joker.
Oh yeah.
There's so 4. Mark Hamill's Joker, and then now
I think you
Joaquin
could probably.
Phoenix.
I think when you see it, you could probably add Joaquin in that mix.
Yeah.
He's
So
really-
and now Joaquin. One thing I've noticed about the great Jokers, and you notice I'm taking Jared Leto out of this. One thing I've noticed about the great Jokers is they seem to match the times that we're living in right now.
for sure.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
one definitely does. Like, I mean, I'm just thinking about it right now. I think it warrants a second watch. I think the movie might be genius. I don't know. Like, even thinking
thought
about
a lot
it right
about
now,
it.
yeah, it might be. I don't know.
And yeah, that kind of makes sense because Dark Knight came out when, like,
2008.
Yeah. What were we doing? Iraq, Afghanistan,
Yeah.
all this Middle East stuff, all
Mhm.
these militant.
And now
things
we're
going
like
on.
Jared Leto aside, because Jared Leto was crap. I'm not calling him an elite Joker.
He had
now-
no subtlety. He wasn't
now
thinking about
Joaquin Phoenix, like what is going on right now? Mental health,
mental
Yeah.
health.
school shootings, like all this crazy stuff that's
kind of
going on.
They incorporate all that. The movie takes place like in the 80s, but they incorporate all that class system,
Yeah.
1%. It's all there. Yeah.
You know, like that's one thing about the Joker. Like these elite Jokers that have been around, these 4, they've always been like with the times. They've always confronted
For
problems that are happening in our society right
Well,
now.
what kickstarts the whole thing is that the funding's cut for his insurance,
Mm-hmm.
so he can't afford his therapy sessions or his medication anymore. So that's
Oh.
kind of what kickstarts the
Mm.
movie into going.
They whistleblowing
Yeah,
hardcore.
whistleblowing hardcore, baby.
Wow.
That's how these school shooting things, like people don't get the care that they need, and crazy shit happens.
And people are dickheads.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just to normal people. People just trying to get by.
It's
I
very
might go home
interesting.
and watch it actually.
It's very interesting.
Chilling.
So now that you have like maybe a little bit of a different perspective.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
everything,
Yeah, I think it's
Now
getting
that you-
better.
I did hear that like Joker, from a lot of the reviewers and stuff, is like, you know, like my second time around watching this was a lot different than my first time watching it. Because I think a lot of the people, when they go and watching this, they're like expecting a Batman movie.
Yeah, they expect different things.
They're not expecting a Joker movie. You know, they're almost expecting that DC-esque type movie. So they have
Yeah.
pre-motivated thoughts about how the movie should be. You know, and so
Yeah.
watching it a second time.
Emily had a really good review about it, my girlfriend, in that it was uncomfortable to watch. So I mean, like, like that's pretty good. Like a movie should make you feel something.
Yeah.
I think.
So the last movie that I
That is cinema.
felt uncomfortable watching, like truly uncomfortable watching, was Natural Born Killers.
Yeah, that's that movie's pretty gnarly.
Because it almost makes you feel like after watching it, you're like,
You too are insane.
I too am insane, and I am like-
identify with this movie a little too much.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I
You know?
felt at the end of Black Swan. I was like, I gotta go lay down. I feel my mind hurts. I love those movies where it's done and your brain is just like fried. It's fried. It's had an experience.
Have you ever seen Joel Schumacher's, the director of Batman and Robin? Have you seen his movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas?
I'm not.
Falling down.
Oh wait, is that the one where he's a drunk?
I don't think he's a drunk, but it's a guy that like he's on his way to work and he just like leaves his car one day and freaking like
No,
he
I've
just
not
goes
seen
on
that.
a crazy adventure all day where like he gets guns and fucking starts like killing people and stuff. He just goes like crazy. It's like seriously done so well.
Is that the one where his son gets killed in a convenience store and he just goes on a rampage?
I think you find out that his son died. I don't know if it's a convenience store. He does shoot up a convenience store though in the movie.
Ah.
What are you thinking? I don't know. It's
What
done really
movie
well.
is this?
Falling Down?
Falling down.
Yeah, you should go check it out and stuff like that. It's I think in this day and age, it's very apropos and easy as it's even more identifiable than it was when it came out in the 90s. It's really good.
I feel like I've seen that movie. Maybe I
Probably
have.
have. He's got like a little buzz cut and stuff. And it's done really well.
So I do have a question for you, Eric. What is your disdain for Todd Phillips? Why do you hate him so much?
Who's Todd Phillips again?
Let's see. What
The director of Hangover 1, 2, 3,
how much time
and The
you got,
Joker.
buddy? How much time you got, buddy? Well, first off, I don't like the Hangover movies.
Okay.
I don't know if you
I
guys
watched
are
them
fans.
recently. They do not hold up.
No.
It's just like, I said the word retarded.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
Like I've never been a fan. I don't know. Like freaking even.
Well, because I noticed in our text messages, sorry to interrupt, in our text messages, you're talking about the Joker. By the way, I hate Todd Phillips.
Oh,
blah,
yes,
blah, blah,
yes,
blah.
yes.
So, does that go into the Joker movie?
Have you kind of redeemed in the same way that Interstellar redeemed Matthew McConaughey for me slightly?
I think just with his public persona, I kind of feel like he's kind of douchey.
What does he douche about?
It's hard to describe. I don't know how to do it without offending anybody, but no, I'm just kidding. No, but I think this movie transcends my feelings about it. I think a lot of the movie is hit you over the head, like not done very smart. But like I said, I think Joaquin kind of elevates the material. Like I get what they're saying. There's a lot of like symbolism in there. Like there's a scene where he's like holding up a sign at the beginning and he's like, everything must go. And like these kids steal the sign and literally, you know, it's like a message that everything must go. These kids steal the sign. He goes to try to get it back. And these kids literally beat him over the head with the sign, like beat him over the head with this message.
Yeah.
Everything must go. I get it.
Oh. I see what they
Just
did.
So they're not being very subtle. He's
It's not-
just a.
He's whacking you over the
Yeah,
head.
it's not done subtly. I'm not a fan probably of any of it. I think I saw that. I think Due Date is Todd Phillips. I saw that and I thought that was okay. But other than that, I don't think I really like him. He did Old School, right? And Old School was okay too.
Old School is funny.
I think
yeah.
that's what got him all these other ones.
But I don't like the Hangover movie.
No, are you sure Old School wasn't that other guy that Will Ferrell and Adam?
Oh yeah, what's his face?
Shit.
I don't remember. I can see his face clear as I can
Yeah.
see these blinds that I'm looking at right now. I just don't remember what his name is.
I have to look it up. I'm sorry, guys.
Dead air, dead
Because
air.
he did like
Knocked Up.
Knocked Up, and all those other movies.
Oh, yeah.
They're
He's that guy? He directed Joker? The guy who makes all the
no,
young adult
the
trash?
guy that did Old School.
Old School did Joker. Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips did Old School.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
It was Todd Phillips. Right?
Yeah.
Well, who's the producer? Okay, so I'm thinking about someone
Use the
completely
bathroom
different.
time.
I'm thinking about the guy that did Knocked Up. That guy's a good comedian director. But I mean, all right, so Todd Phillips, he did Knocked Up, Old School. I liked Old School. I wasn't like too into the Hangovers. Too
Yeah.
much.
I used to watch them a lot. Like when I was 14, they were
Uh-huh.
hilarious to me. I watched them on Netflix a few months ago.
Uh-huh.
I was like, ooh, this
Yeah, they
does
didn't
not hold up.
They really don't.
They were very like of the time jokes, and the jokes there are really just like being an asshole.
Yeah.
It's like, ha,
Or
you got
like
punched in the face.
Like one of those bro guys. Like you're a bro.
Yeah,
Like
right.
you know.
Like, ha, he got tased in the face.
Look
Asian
at
man with his
him.
penis out.
Yeah.
They
It's so small. Look, Asian man with the small penis.
His heart stopped when he snorted cocaine.
Yeah.
Ha ha. It's
Yeah.
like it could have been any movie.
It's like college
just-
humor
Yeah.
at its worst. College humor at its worst.
Yeah.
Jude Apatow.
Judd Apatow.
Judd
yeah.
Apatow. Yeah.
That guy is pretty douchey.
But like all of his stuff, like is pretty. It's still funny to this day, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Like most of his stuff,
He
like
has a lot of iconic movies.
I think he produced Superbad too. Fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Oh, I love Superbad.
It's not like I don't like sophomore humor. I think I just haven't gotten a lot of what Todd Phillips puts out there. Except for this one. I have a feeling like I have a really good idea on what you guys both like. I think you're really going to be into the Joker.
Yeah. I'll definitely check it out, watch it twice, and then check back in with you. I do have a little bit of a question. So we're talking about jokes a little bit. What is the comedy movie or movies that ruined comedy for you? because I watch comedy movies,
comedy movies?
and I'm like,
How do you
haha.
ruin comedy movies?
Well, I don't know.
Please explain.
So I don't really laugh at comedy movies. Like I'll laugh. I was like, oh, that's funny, haha, at their jokes or whatever.
Especially if you're alone.
But there's the one particular movie series that ruined comedy for me, to where I just don't think a lot of comedy is funny anymore because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any type of movie or anything that's done that for you?
But what are you saying? Like it was so good that other stuff isn't
Just
as funny?
exactly.
Or, Oh,
Exactly.
okay. So it's so good. I thought you were saying that. Like,
No, so
a
like
comedy movie that was
well,
so terrible you didn't want to watch comedy movies.
no, it's just like a comedy movie that was so good that everything else is just not
it's
that
cut
funny.
and dry stuff.
Dang.
Well, I'll give you my example
Yeah. Well, I
to
think.
let you guys think. So what ruined comedy movies for me was the Jackass series of movies,
Those are funny.
because they were so fucking hilarious. They were real, and everything about those were just like fucking laugh out loud funny.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about those in a while.
And so now every time I watch, and still to this day, every time I watch a movie, it's just, yeah, that was a funny joke.
Especially if it has physical stunts. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, that was
That was okay.
like, did you break your nose like Johnny Knoxville did? Well, then.
I went to see
That's
one of
not that
those
impressive.
with my
Yeah.
dad in the theater. I think it was the second one and stuff. And he fucking laughed his ass off the whole time. Yeah.
I mean, there's funny parts and there's in movies and funny bits and funny jokes, but it's just like it's not laugh out loud the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
Jackass ruined comedy for me because now I just don't find
It's
I
a
just
different
don't,
kind of comedy.
I just
so,
don't find
yeah.
things as funny anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
It was so good. It just raised the bar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not like a setup and punchline type comedy and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just shenanigans. It's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, and I love shenanigans.
I do know a lot of like down to earth movies that like really think about the details ruin other like just regular action movies for me. Because like you look at Gravity and how realistic the movement is, and then you watch something like Transformers.
So what you're saying is you hate Michael Bay because
Yeah, and I can't suspend disbelief as much because I saw the spectacular lighting and CGI of Gravity, and I'm seeing like 30-ton things in Transformers like basically like glide over the water and stuff. I'm like, that would never happen.
Well, it's like
that
Michael
ruins
Bay.
me for stuff.
Michael Bay is like
He's garbage.
he is garbage. Like he's known for the biggest explosions ever on set. Transformers 4, the biggest explosion that's ever been on a movie set. It's like, oh, come on now.
All right.
You know.
Oh, one example I have, the Mission Impossibles, so fucking good with their stunts and everything.
Yeah.
Other stunts,
You know why?
they just ain't as good.
It's because Tom Cruise does them all.
Yeah.
It's like
he
Jackie
just straight
Chan,
up does
man.
them.
It's like Jackie Chan.
Yeah, that's another one. Like, can you really enjoy? I can't really enjoy The Matrix as much after I watched like Raid.
Mhm.
I think I forgot who directed it, but like there are fighting
know if I've ever
styles
seen
and
that.
fighting in movies that are just miles ahead of The Matrix, where The Matrix looks like just silly,
Well,
At
it's
this point.
because like
you know?
the CGI just didn't hold up. We were in like this transition period of CGI
Yeah,
and
just everything was
and
a
regular stunts and practical effects. We're on like this big trend. Now everything is CGI and you almost can't even tell the difference. But like Matrix was such a CGI practical. There was one or the other.
Yeah, you can't really fuse together. Else
I think if you did the Matrix trilogy exactly how it is today, you would feel a lot different about it because I think it would hold up a lot better. Just because
Yeah.
CGI has advanced so much now.
They should put out a Blu-ray like Star Wars-esque, like a remastered version. That'd be sick. Because
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, the part
yeah.
where Neo's fighting all those Agent Smiths
Yeah.
is just
It's
awful.
ridiculous.
It looks like a bunch of rubber
but the story itself is
people.
great.
Yeah, absolutely. I still watch those and enjoy them. It's just I can't. When I was a kid, I was like, yeah, fighting. Yeah, this is the best fighting I've ever seen. And now I'm just like, ew. That's what my dad was talking about when because he saw it much older
Really?
than I was, and he was like, wow, that animation sucks. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is awesome.
Well, the thing is, like in 2000, that was kind of before the high def TVs too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so
Where you can't see right there and pick apart the effects.
yeah, exactly. Before then, like you were at a movie theater that was probably standard definition, and it looked great.
I will say, when I saw The Matrix Reloaded, the second one,
Yeah, the second one.
yeah, I thought it looked fabulous when I saw it in the theater. I'm like, great. And then when I saw it on home video and stuff, I was like, oh, this looks like trash.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it looked good until I got my because I was watching on a standard definition TV though, on a DVD, not Blu-ray. So I thought it always looked good, and then I have seen it now where it's like Blu-ray edition, like high definition. It's like, oh yeah, that looks
1,000
junk.
Agent
Yeah.
Smith fight looks like fucking like a PS1 game. It's
Exactly. It's kind of like the first 3 Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
You know, episode 1, 2, and 3 is like those look like shit.
Yeah, those added people.
Yeah. Well, even like Jar Jar Binks looks like shit, and like everything looks like crap.
Even the Blu-ray ones on Disney Plus, like you can see the green screen in some some things, and
Well, it's like, okay, so in I think episode 6 or maybe even 5, with Jabba the Hutt, there's a scene where he's crawling or slithering around, and it's CGI, and it's like that looks so fucking bad, so fucking bad.
yeah, and emotes way too much. Like when Han Solo steps on his tail, he's like, "Whoa!" Like, why would Jabba the Hutt do that? And why would he take that from Han Solo?
I know, man.
He would have executed him on the spot.
I'm a huge Star Wars fan, right? The only time I've ever questioned my loyalty, I guess, to the series, like they've fucked up a lot of shit over the years. They have shat on so much
They
things.
have.
But the one part that gets me, which is recently with this new Disney Plus thing, is that on Return of the Jedi, one of my favorite scenes is at the very end when Luke and Vader face off for the last time, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, they're fighting and stuff on the Death Star. The Emperor's like, good.
The hate flow
Yeah, he's doing all his Emperor stuff.
Something dark side.
There's like such a deep part and stuff too, where he's like, you know, if you don't turn to the dark side, maybe your sister will. And he's like, no. And then fucking John Williams' score comes in, and they're like fighting, and they're like playing that score behind it.
Yeah.
Like I get chills every time I see that.
Dude, I
So
got
I'm like,
chills just listening to you talk about it.
Freaking right? Right?
I
I'm
listen
like-
to John Williams on Spotify at least once a week.
Oh, for sure. Like that guy's a genius, dude. Seriously. He's part of the reason why Star Wars feels so big, because you can look at it without that series music, it probably looks like shit.
Yeah.
Like for sure.
Yeah.
But the deepest part, I think, at the very end is where Luke he's just like, and this isn't like prequel shit where they're dancing around like ballerinas and doing like all these flips with their lightsabers.
Yeah.
This is Luke literally getting pissed off and just hammering away
Yeah.
fucking Darth Vader, like he's fucking just trying to chop him in half. And you know, he chops Darth Vader's hand off. It goes flying out. Luke looks at his hand and sees that it's, you know, it's robotic. He looks down at his dad's and a message.
Yep.
He's like, oh my God, like I'm the same thing. So then he throws his lightsaber away and he's like, you failed. You failed, Emperor. Like freaking, I'm a Jedi. Like I'm not going to give in to my hate and stuff.
Yeah.
So then the Emperor's like, so be it, Jedi. And then
He starts zapping him.
starts zapping him, right? And it's fucking, the score too is just amazing. And he's like, no, Dad,
power.
please help me. And he's like, ultimate power. And he's frying Luke, and he's like, you know, you'll pay for your fucking incidents. And then, you know, you have that one scene where he's about to fucking just kill this motherfucker. And Luke's like, oh, Dad, please. And friggin', you know, you have that, they cut to a scene of Darth Vader. And he's looking down at Luke, and he's looking over the Empire, and he's just like looking back and forth. And he makes a decision. He's like, fuck this. And he grabs the Emperor, lifts him over his head, and throws him.
While he's getting shocked.
While he's getting shocked.
And you can see
killing
his
himself.
skull and stuff.
So that was usually done with no dialogue at all.
Uh-huh.
They added dialogue into that scene, the new one, where he's like, he's looking back and forth, and he's like, no.
Or no.
No.
Son.
No. Fucking ruined it, man.
Yeah.
They ruined it so bad.
George Lucas has a tendency of doing that.
horrible.
You know what actually kind of surprises me is Disney is kept with like the Lucasisms, I guess you could call.
Yeah.
Like they've kept them in the movie. Like they kept the whole Han Solo
with his neck bend.
or the who shot first.
That's right.
I hate that scene.
Yeah.
His neck just like
He does like a little bit of break
dislocates.
dancing.
It's like, dude, like come on.
Yeah.
Like why did
awful.
you keep the Lucasisms in there?
And you know what else they added that, and then they added an extra Greedo line to that scene, and
To make it more valid that he shot second.
because he goes like, "How about I kill you?" Or it's some like lowbrow way, like, "I'll just kill you then."
No,
And then
Han
that's-
shot first. We all know that.
Yeah, come on, he's a scoundrel, and they even like picked it up more with the Solo movie. He shot Woody Harrelson at the end. Woody Harrelson's like, "Now put the thing down, and and then bam, and Han Solo just shot him like right in the middle of his sentence, and it was like, that is Han Solo right there.
Well, Han Solo is he's kind of like the anti-villain.
Yeah, he's like,
Right,
he does
you
what he
know?
needs to do to survive.
He's not a good guy. He's not
He's
a
a
bad
rogue.
guy. He's a rogue, man. So like, keep the rogue qualities with him.
Yeah, it's not like
You
Greedo
know?
was like
You're
this
devaluing
saint.
his character when you
Yeah.
just make him like this good guy.
And he shot another scoundrel. Like, who cares? He didn't shoot like Obi-Wan or something like that, or like some reverend.
Where are you going? I got 2 points here. I got two
Okay.
points to make real quick. Freaking, there's a character on Attack of the Clones. There's a scene where
Is it the green squid guy?
Obi-Wan goes to a bar and he's some guy comes up to him and he's like, "You want Death Sticks?" And he's like, "You don't want to sell me Death Sticks. I don't want to sell you Death Sticks. You want to go
Home and rethink your life. I want to go home and rethink my life.
I believe, I might be wrong here, but there's a toy for this character, and this character is called Larry Scuzzbucketo, I think is his name.
Bucketo.
Which is a clear sign that George Lucas needs to be stopped in what he's doing. He doesn't make always the right decisions.
Yeah, Scuzz Bucketo. Like, I'm pretty sure that was supposed to have an asterisk next to it, like change later
Change later.
to an actual name, like something with a K. Have you noticed that all the names are like Cal or Kyle or Kel or Cool?
It's weird.
Catan.
It's weird. A lot of weird decisions in those movies.
Yeah, as goofy as the original trilogy was, or 1, 2, and 3, not the original, not the orig tridge, but the new tridge.
Yeah.
But not the new tridge, but the old new tridge. They're pretty enjoyable. Like, they're wacky, but they have a lot of substance to them.
Yeah.
Like, I know people hate the talking about the politics and stuff, but it's like, to me, I like the talk because, like I said, I have a hard time suspending disbelief. I'm like, why are they there? Why are these Jedi just like going out and like having these super dangerous missions? And it's only until you like read into the lore and like hear some of the details that you can be like, oh, okay, that's why. I have a hard time doing that. So I kind of like when they do explain some of the political nature of why the army is there. Because if not, I just see like bad guy, good guy, fight. It's like Lord of the Rings. They have events that set the war into motion. You know, I need reasons, and like you don't get that as much with like the new ones. It's just like battle. Yeah, you battle and there's nothing, because I'm sure they got a lot of hate for all the political talk.
For sure.
But I like it.
Do you feel worried about there's a lot of rumors that the screenings of Rise of Skywalker have not gone well.
Yeah, I have almost zero hopes for it. But maybe that'll make it good,
right?
Make it better.
It might. Maybe going in with no expectations at all, maybe it will make it better.
Yeah, I heard it's a big like sellout, or not really a sellout, but it was. I hear with the details they should have probably.
This is why I wanted you to wait. There's
given it out.
Early rumors that the screenings of The Rise of Skywalker have gone horribly.
Oh, I already know all about that.
Yeah. But I will say that I heard that George Lucas has a lot of say in The Mandalorian and what's going on there. And I mean,
I doubt that.
that's been pretty amazing this whole time around.
I did hear about the screenings though.
Yes, I heard that they have gone spectacularly
You know what?
horrible.
You know
whereas
what's
they are
wild?
reshooting a lot of it before it comes out.
You know what's wild though? My cousin in like 2010, he works in LA. He animates for a big video game company. He told me way back then that when they're like working on the next trilogy of Star Wars, and said how it's gonna be two people who are on opposite sides, one light, one dark, and they crisscross, and one goes dark, one goes light, and then they meet back at the end. And that's exactly what's been happening since 2010. But but it's sort of been happening, but you can tell that they went a different direction because it's happening
Wars is
It
like
is.
behind
Light and
the
dark.
action, you know.
I don't know if you guys seen the Phantom Menace recently, but holy fuck, it's pretty
Oh yeah.
pretty out there, dude.
Yeah.
Bringing with the.
You know my main gripe? I'm just gonna keep going. With The Last Jedi, who the fuck told Finn to act like the way he does?
Right?
They're like, just imagine Finn's character, if you will, a child soldier raised from birth to kill other people, to fight battles. And then you look at John Boyega's
I love your
character.
voice right now. Keep it going.
You're good.
Fight
This is the
battles.
strongest I've ever seen you.
His friend dies. His blood is smeared
the
across
blood
his
hand.
face. He is having PTSD after his battle, and his commanding officer is saying like, "Get your fucking helmet on and get back to work, you fucking soldier, you child slave who I've raised since birth to be a warrior." And then after he leaves that, he's just happy-go-lucky John Boyega, you know? He's just this fun, happy-go-lucky character who was raised from birth to kill Jedi.
He knows nothing else but killing.
Yeah, knows nothing else but war and killing. And then
Bitching, apparently.
And then in the second movie, he's like walking around with his fucking suit and like squirting out liquid from his like medical suit, and it's all funny and hilarious and stuff. And I'm like, this guy was raised from birth as a child soldier, and he's like this goofball. How does that make sense at all?
They abandoned a lot, I think, in The Last Jedi. I think they tried to make things a little too differently. A lot of people say it's their favorite, too. Because it strays so far from
Yeah, I guess so.
conventions and tries to fucking alter expectations and stuff.
And why is Poe an Italian guy? He's like, we gotta shoot these turrets over here.
It's Tony Maselli from Who's the Boss. He's like, come on over here, Empire.
What's the plan here, boss? Like, who's Italian in this universe? It just, I hate it.
Well, it is
Anyway,
galaxy
that's
far,
me.
far away, so there's plenty of Italians.
It's true. We got to make sure everything's represented. Just like Gene Roddenberry did. Got to make sure everything.
Yeah, at least he kept this shit on Earth.
One thing I will say, after watching Disney Plus, I don't know if you guys have seen the Imagineering
Oh yeah,
documentary.
I watched the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. So they got a bunch of documentaries on here. I think it's fascinating how fucking much work Gene Roddenberry actually put into Disneyland.
Yeah.
And yeah, working side by side with them.
Yeah.
And
Oh, really?
yeah, it's amazing. Like if you, and they go into it a lot with the Imagineering thing. He did the whole Epcot Center stuff, and like he had a bunch of say so on what's going on there. Another magical thing too about these documentaries and stuff is
Full
just
circle.
how back in the 80s when they were building Disney World and stuff like that, they were setting up to be totally like solar powered and just be like a bioengineering thing with plants and stuff like that. All the amazing shit that they did that are not really incorporated into everyday life now. Why? Like why?
It's just
can
big oil, man.
Yeah. If Disney can power like freaking this whole thing and like really practice what they preach
In like
and go up
1980.
in 1980 and none of this stuff's incorporated, fuck you, America. Like what the fuck are you doing, dude?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just big business.
What I
And
really-
Gene Roddenberry was there from the ground up too, helping out.
Yeah.
with his visions for the fucking future. Nobody's listening. Why, America? Why?
Full circle, man. Full circle. Gene. Well, you know what I really...
He's from El Paso.
Yeah.
Represent.
You know what? It's crazy. What I really... Not what just I got from that, but like when they were making like Disney World and the company... like other parts of the company were pushing back. It's like, we're not making money. We need to make movies. And like Disney at that time when they were making Land wasn't a movie company. I mean, they made movies, but they weren't solely a movie company. You know, and Walt Disney's vision was like
BBC
this
type
world
stuff.
and then or this land and then this world, right? To be like this ultimate theme park of, you know, of what we're all seeing.
Wonder.
And like it was crazy, like the pushback of to make like we need to make movies, and Walt Disney's like, it's not about the movies, it's about like the life experiences, not so much about the movies. Of course Disney started making a shit ton of movies and all that stuff, and they're all good and they all stay true to Disney, but it was crazy, like the vision wasn't always about movies or like these, you know.
It kind of seemed like he drifted off and just started going more towards the betterment of mankind.
Exactly. It's almost like the Man in the Mirror song.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm getting a copyright strike.
Yeah,
you know. But it's just like it was almost like that. It's like these.
Dude, the first monorail in the Western Hemisphere was in Disneyland.
Yeah.
The dude was
preached
on the leading edge.
Future. He preached the future.
Yeah. In that Imagineering thing.
Okay. So right there, stop right there. He preached the future, and that's what pisses me off about having Star Wars shit in fucking Futureland. Because Star Wars is not the future.
It's the past.
It's the galaxy far, far away a long time ago. And Star Wars needs to be separated from Futureland. I'm like...
Yeah, I think that would be cool. Because I want to see, like the House of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see real new stuff. You know, I want to see something that's like, that'll blow my mind I haven't seen before.
They got the hologram technology and stuff. Like, you do it, like you say, a little hologram. It seems like we have better stuff nowadays, so...
Yeah.
Like, at least they...
Well, yeah, I mean, like in the 80s, man, when they were doing this shit, like the cutting edge technology they were putting in, like the Epcot and all this stuff is fucking unreal.
Yeah.
You know, and even like the people movers and then, like you said, the monorail, like Tomorrowland was fucking unreal. Like, there's a lot of like Tomorrowland that's not even open anymore because it's just outdated. It's like, update that shit. You guys have the resources.
Yeah.
Do it.
I think they could really inspire people to think about space travel and space related things.
They have like a whole Epcot thing and shit where people are doing touch screens and they're like, oh, and they're like, well, do you see this being implemented into modern day society? And they're like, yeah, one day like this can all be commercialized and given to you know, America and stuff.
And they're all like, oh yeah, think about it in like small devices in your hand.
We're gonna have to do something way better after that once it's become.
And they haven't. But what I heard is they have shut down Epcot, a lot of Epcot. They're redoing the whole thing right now.
Nice, that'd be amazing.
So that's what I've heard is a lot of Epcot is shut down. You know, well, even like with the monorail, it goes through the Matterhorn. You know, and like the building design and the construction, like with everything Disneyland, Disney World is just fucking amazing, man. I know we talk a lot about Disney, and
this is interesting.
Just high quality.
I want to talk about this. This is interesting.
Yeah,
I just don't understand. Later
in life,
I don't understand how it seems like they could have implemented all this technology. I mean, I get it with like big oil and like fucking this other like power, like it's keeping from a lot of stuff from breaking. But it just seems like if Disney has been doing this since the 80s and like powering a lot of their facilities doing this, it just seems like a no-brainer. Fucking, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why doesn't every major building have like the same ingenuity as?
Well, so it's the pushback, man. So the difference between Disney and everybody else is Disney has its own missability code or like it's its own city, it's its own province in Florida. Like it has its own postal code, like it makes its own rules, so it's able to do everything it wants to do. Like without the standard government telling it what to do.
Yeah.
Pretty much, you know? But now, like everywhere else, it's so commercialized. Do you really, does the city or state really want to take money away from the state power plants because every single roof in California has solar panels? No.
Yeah.
Like, how are they going to get the money from the state? Like, how are they going to get all this money if people are providing themselves energy?
Yeah.
Like, where is the state?
What will
gonna
happen
get
if people become self-reliant?
Exactly.
Sure.
Without
Oh, no.
the government, without all this money, like how are we going to pay ourselves and do other things, you know? Like,
You just fuck off. How about that?
but
It seems like people just don't dream anymore.
well, there's that, and there's the mismanagement of money.
Yeah.
Like, our politicians these days do not know how to manage money.
Yep.
Like, they're like this whole weed thing in Washington. It's like, oh, it's supposed to, like, this much is supposed to go here and this much is supposed to go here, and it's like, where's that money going? It's not going to those places anymore. You know,
Yeah, it goes
they
to
are
some bullshit
mismanaging their
thing.
fucking money. They're gonna spend billions of dollars building a tunnel and then toll it because they need more money.
Yeah.
Well, technically, we already paid for the tunnel, so now you just want more money from the tunnel.
Yeah.
So it should be free because we already paid for that shit. You know,
Yeah.
it's
And I hear it's even worse in like some European countries because I heard that just to get it was like a crosswalk painted or like in England they wanted to like make a ramp on like one corner and it cost like $1 million
well, yeah.
to get that one ramp put in. It's just because of all this mountain of legislation, taxes, other reasons just to get this one ramp put in.
Well, and that's
and
where
how
American
ridiculous it
politics
is.
kind of falls apart. You know, we are all so divided between one direction, right or left. You know, and everyone wants, like, what people don't realize is a lot of these European countries and other countries, they're taxed 50%. 50% of your
Yeah,
income,
60 maybe.
60% of your income goes somewhere else. It goes to the government, and you are allowing the government to pretty much take control of everything. And a lot of people aren't happy about that.
Yeah.
They're not happy. Like, where are my 60% tax dollars going? At least with where we're at right now, where we may be taxed 20, 25, 30%, but you know, it's not all of our income. Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
and that's where you really have to look at in politics is like, you know, you elect these officials to make decisions for you. Like, you really have to look deep down to see, like, where is your money going?
Yeah.
Like, how is, like, you may like see some of the values of being a Democrat, and that is great, but these, like, Democrats, they're going to tax you more for those values. You know, you want the homeless population to, you want that fixed. You want the drug epidemic. You want gun control. You may want some of this other stuff that's happening, but
That
they're
all
going to
costs money.
they're going to tax you for it.
Yeah. And by doing so, it's going to limit what you could do before.
Yeah.
Which
You know, so
some
you're
people
going to
don't
get
like.
taxed for it. You know, but the opposite with Republicans. You might not get as much taxed. You might not get taxed as much, quotation marks, but you're not going to see some of these other programs that you may want implemented.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
So it's like, where is this divide? You know, like, I know Washington State, it is one of the most taxed states in the union. We are paying a lot of money to be in this
For
state,
sure.
and we don't even pay state taxes. You know,
True.
so it's electing those officials. Sorry, it got really quiet in here.
It did.
So
I turned off
I
the
was-
heater, by the
I
way.
was thinking about what you were saying.
It is electing these officials to represent you that are going to implement these programs like what Walt Disney had envisioned. Implement these small programs, at least a little part of it, in the most sustainable way that they can. That still stimulates the economy. That still puts money in the pockets of the people that need the money. Like, we all need the money. Like, how do you stimulate the economy and still like progress these values that we're trying to progress? You know, and that's the main question. Like, this state is making a lot of money. There's a lot, like, billions and billions of dollars, like, off just weed alone.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of different places. But the thing is, in my personal opinion, the problem is just a very big mismanagement of money.
Yeah. And it's also just a hugely complicated, like, just profession. There's a lot of rules that have been implemented over the years, and the United States is the largest economy. It's also the most diverse economy. One rule change could totally save like one industry and totally decimate another.
Yeah.
And other countries like Sweden, people always say Sweden's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Well, if the United States was 9 million people, like
Yeah.
the size of this city, and they were all 7th generation Americans, yeah, I'm sure with like really limited industry, like we have the fish industry and the logging industry, yeah, I'm sure decisions could be made like that.
Yeah.
But no, we have super diverse areas, people who think differently.
You're speaking for 300 million people.
Yeah,
You know.
all with different states,
Millions.
with different rules.
And millions.
It's a big boat. It's hard to turn, you know.
Yeah.
You can't just say like, oh, let's go this way, because you have like millions of people doing stuff.
Yeah, you know, and I think, you know,
It's okay.
I feel like there's better solutions on both ends. You know, there should be a common ground.
For sure.
You know, like
We should have politicians fight.
I unfortunately have to take off. I have something going on at the house.
Well, we're at a minute.
I
11.
apologize.
We can probably wrap it up.
Do you guys want to pod again tomorrow?
possibly.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. We can do the
'cause
morning.
all the girls are going to get haircuts and stuff, so I'm totally free tomorrow morning if you guys
Yeah.
want to come back here.
All right. Cool. So that wraps up this episode of the John Sandwich 2. or
Apologies
John
for this
Sandwich Show.
episode. It was actually informative and
Yeah.
about things.
We try not to talk about anything serious, so I don't know what happened.
We had a good run of movie talk.
Our second episode in a day usually ends up being pretty serious.
Yes, for sure. For
You
sure.
know.
Yeah.
So, till next time,
Have
follow-
a sandwich.
Sandwich on
John Sandwich 2.
with mustard. ThurstonQ, twitch.tv.
All right. We love you guys. Bye.
Bye.